Welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Book Digest. In today's episode, we're diving into a powerful and practical summary of The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. Now, this is a story set during World War II, but honestly, it's so much more than that. It's really about the incredible power of words and how they can save us in the absolute darkest of times. And it's all told from a perspective that is, well, it's truly one of a kind. So let's just jump right into the novel's most unique feature, shall we? I'm talking, of course, about its narrator. This one single choice is what sets this book completely apart from just about anything else you'll ever read about this time in history. You see, the story is narrated by death itself, but you gotta get the image of a grim reaper out of your head. This isn't some scary monster. Instead, he's portrayed as this exhausted, almost melancholy being. To deal with his grim, never-ending job of collecting souls, he distracts himself. He notices the colors of the sky, and that one little detail, it tells you everything you need to know about his perspective. He's tired, he's seen it all, and he's deeply, deeply affected by both the beauty and the sorrow of the human world. So right from the get-go, Death tells us that he met our main character, the book thief, exactly 3 times. Her story, out of the millions he's witnessed, was one of the few that really stuck with him, one that really captured his attention. And this framing, wow, it just immediately creates this sense of importance and maybe a little dread. We know loss is coming, but we also know that this girl's story is absolutely worth telling. And that, of course, brings us to the book thief herself, a young girl named Liesel Meminger. We meet her as she arrives in a small German town in 1939. The entire world is right on the edge of complete chaos, and her own small personal story is about to play out against this massive backdrop of historical tragedy. Her journey as the so-called book thief begins with an incredible loss. Her little brother dies on the train, and at his burial, she sees a book fall into the snow. It's the Gravedigger's Handbook. Now, she can't even read, but she takes it. And this isn't some malicious act, It's just an impulse, a desperate grab for something, anything, to connect her to that last moment she had with him. It's her first subconscious attempt to reclaim a piece of a world that's just been shattered. So Liesel is sent to live with Hans and Rosa Hubermann on Himmel Street, which ironically actually means Heaven Street. And this is where you see 2 totally different kinds of love. Hans, her foster father, is this gentle, kind soul with silver eyes. He sits with her through her nightmares and patiently teaches her how to read down in the basement. But Rosa, his wife, she is loud, harsh, always shouting. But you start to realize that underneath all that noise, there's this fierce, protective love. It's just, she has no other way of showing it. Okay, so on Himmel Street, in the middle of all this hardship and the growing shadow of the Nazi regime, Liesel finds something else that will keep her going, a true friend. She meets Rudy Steiner, the boy next door with hair the color of a lemon. And Rudy, well, he has this defiant spirit from day one. I mean, think about this. He once covered himself in charcoal to run in a race, pretending to be his hero, the Black American athlete Jesse Owens, incredibly dangerous in Nazi Germany. He becomes Liesel's completely loyal, can't live without him friend. And throughout their time together, he's always asking her for a kiss. It's this running joke between them that over time starts to feel like something much, much deeper. All right, now we get to the real heart of the novel, the incredible, 2-sided power of words. We're about to see how words can be used to build people up, to create connection and hope, and also how they can be twisted into weapons to tear an entire world apart. And then everything changes. The Hubermans take this enormous, unbelievable risk. They hide a Jewish man, Max Vandenberg, in their basement. Max's arrival brings the full reality of the war right into their home. And down there, in the cold and the dark, he and Liesel form this quiet, profound bond that will change both of their lives forever. At a public book burning hosted by the Nazi Party, Liesel commits her next big act of thievery. Just imagine the scene. A whole town is cheering as books, as ideas are being destroyed. And what does she do? She pulls a single, still smoldering book from the ashes. This is so much more than just stealing. It's a pure act of defiance. For a girl who feels totally powerless, this is how she fights back. She literally saves the very thing they're trying to destroy. Now, if you want to see the destructive power of words, look no further than Hitler's book Mein Kampf. This is the text that fueled the entire Nazi machine. These were the words used to dehumanize millions, to inspire unimaginable hatred. It's propaganda as the ultimate weapon. But then, something truly amazing happens. Down in the basement, Max takes a copy of that very book, of Mein Kampf, and he paints over Hitler's hateful words page by page with white paint. And on those reclaimed pages, he writes and draws beautiful, hopeful stories for Liesel. It's the most brilliant metaphor. It shows that words can be reclaimed. The very same tool used for destruction can be transformed into a vessel for kindness, for friendship, for love. Now, because Death is telling us this story, it doesn't really unfold in a straight line. He drops clues about what's coming, which creates this strange feeling for us, the reader, a feeling he calls a knowing grief. Throughout the entire book, Death hints at the fate of Himmel Street. He tells us what's going to happen to Rudy. We know tragedy is coming. And what's so powerful about that is it doesn't ruin the suspense. No, it builds this long, sustained heartache. You fall in love with these characters, all while carrying this terrible knowledge of what's waiting for them. It's devastating. And when the bombs do finally fall on Himmel Street, in one sudden, silent moment, nearly everyone Liza loves is gone. So why does she survive? Well, because she had fallen asleep in the basement, writing her own story in a little black book. In the end, it's almost poetic, isn't it? The act of writing, of using words to capture her life, is the very thing that literally saves it. So after all of that beauty and all of that heartbreak, what are we supposed to take away from this story? What is the one crucial thing that Zusak really wants us to understand? Well, The Book Thief is really all about the duality of humanity. It shows us, side by side, that people are capable of the most extraordinary cruelty and, at the same time, the most extraordinary tenderness. And it argues that when you're faced with all that brutality, it's our stories, it's words that allow us to find meaning, to connect with each other, and to keep the memory of the people we've lost alive. And after witnessing all of human history, all our triumphs, all our failures, this is Death's final conclusion. It's not dying that haunts him, it's the living. He is just endlessly, utterly captivated and perplexed by our capacity for both incredible good and incredible evil. And that really is the question the book leaves you with. It makes you look at yourself, at all of us, and consider our own capacity for both creation and destruction. It's a thought that will stick with you long, long after you turn that final page.